All right, we're back on the air. All right, we got James and Chelsea. Who's next?
I'm here.
All right, you ready?
No.
I'm there.
James, you ready?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm there.
All right, we're gonna go with James then.
Give the host to Keisha because I'm having some technical difficulties.
All right.
Because I had to use Zoom on my phone.
All right. Keisha. I'm making Keisha the host right now. And Keisha, you will start your share.
Going to start with the personal change project.
We're waiting on Keisha's screen to come up. There we go. Excellent.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Real quick, my personal change project is kind of personal to me. Recently, I'm back in CMS, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. I'm teaching at Governor's Village STEM Academy. They're going through a transition to where it used to be a magnet school. We used to call Moorhead Magnet. Mm-hmm. They have a new principal, and the new superintendent came in and changed it from a magnet school back to a neighborhood school. So they're going through a transition of getting of letting the magnet kids finish and then bringing in the neighborhood kids. So this year is kind of chaotic, and I started in October, and the principal is new. She's coming from elementary, and most of her admin staff is coming from elementary, along with a lot of the staff is elementary minded, and there are some middle school minded staff there. I just want to give a little background of why I chose this, and kind of all three of my projects kind of go along this line. So if you follow with me, okay, we'll start off with my background. I've been in education since 2002. Some of the positions that I held are math teacher, head football coach, athletic director, math specialist, compliance coordinator, and dean of students. My personal goal. My personal goal is to become an effective leader / coach by becoming a followership, and being coach. Okay, make sure I can see. Okay, back to personal goal. My personal goal is to become an effective leader / coach by becoming a follower. Fellowship that we learned in the previous course, and being coached, something I never received. All right, my rationale. After much self-reflection, I've been effective in positions held, but I did not do a good job of preparing people around me. I would love to give people around me the opportunity to gain effective coaching, something I never received. And I put Michael Jordan versus LeBron James because one of the arguments going on between Michael Jordan and LeBron James is people talking about their greatness. People always say that Michael Jordan was great, but he never made people around him great. And LeBron James makes people around him great. So I want that's one thing I struggle with. I've always done the task at hand, and I moved on and never developed anybody around me or helped anybody around me, and thus I never received any coaching. All right, my weaknesses. I'm stubborn. I'm too focused on tasks. I have my blinders on when I'm given a task. That's all I'm focused on. I'm not thinking about any other things. I'm not thinking about any side thing. I'm just thinking about what I have to do. At one point, I had my own agenda. I was treated like a star, and I believe the hype. Like I said, I was never coached. I was always effective with math. I always did a good job with math. I always had good scores, so no one ever coached me or taught me anything to kind of just let me be. And then through that, I didn't seek any growth opportunities. I kind of just say, hey, I'm a teacher. I'm good at it, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Strengths. My strengths were I had content knowledge. I understood the importance of collaboration. I was result-driven, which led to my influence. I got influenced differently. I was never really charismatic. People followed me because I had the results. I had the scores. So people kind of listened to what I said. I was focused. I was a strategic planner, and I was data-driven. All right, next. After that, my steps for improvement. One, I had to humble myself and I seek the mentor. Now I went to a person that I knew for a while. She's working at the school. I kind of went to her. I said, you know what? And I kind of let her know, because she knew me in my previous roles. And I let her. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it right this time. I humbled myself and I said, no, I'm seeking guidance. I want to be coached so that I can coach, because one of the things I'm on a team with 2 other novice teachers. This is their first year teaching. And I want to just give them opportunities that I never had. I want to give them the opportunity to be coached so that one day they can coach. I want to give them an opportunity. I want them to understand that I'm a resource. I'm not a know-it-all. I want them to understand the importance of collaboration, of course, and help them understand, things that I had to figure out as a teacher that no one taught me. I want to kind of help them in that journey beginning, because a lot of times in teaching, we are left to figure things out. And in the process of figuring things out, kids are suffering. Next step for improvement, I joined school PLCs to broaden my thought process. I joined the school leadership team. Never thought about joining before, never cared. Joined the PTA. I'm doing more in my PLC meetings. Another thing I did, I enrolled in the doctorate program to educate myself. One thing, we can want to change, but you have to educate yourself in order to change. Now I'm utilizing more reflective practices. I reflect constantly. Now, before I just like, hey, this worked, and I'm gonna keep banging it till it works. Now I'm like, no, you know what? That didn't work. That didn't work as well. So I need to try this. I need to try that. Definitely now I think before I speak. I think that comes with just growing up and maturity and getting older and realizing, hey, I got to pick and choose my battles. I can't fight everything. Next, I'm becoming a role model. I'm understanding that there are teachers that are watching what I say and what I do, not just what I do. They're actually watching what I say, actually what I do. And I realize that I got to have my lesson plans in on time. I got to be on time to meetings. I got to have my, things out. And because they don't, a lot of times when you're a new teacher, you don't really understand differentiation. You don't really understand that he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that. He does it naturally. So I have to go back and say, you know what? I always looked at it as myself. I do it naturally. I know how to do it, but I got to think that people watching me, and I got to show them the process of how you do it. I just didn't one day wake up and did it. I went through a process of becoming, the teacher that I am. And that's it for my personal project. Any questions?
No, I like the main tenet of leadership is followership. I like your rationale there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to my cultural change project. Once again, it's kind of just going back over what I said before. I recently started teaching at a middle school that is transitioning from a thriving magnet school to a traditional neighborhood school. So naturally, there has to be a merge of 2 totally different cultures. The principal, the administrative staff, and the majority of the faculty have an education background. This has proven to be problematic at times. There is a clear division between the elementary-minded faculty and the middle school-minded faculty. Meetings are the prime location for these showdowns. So we're having meetings. We're not getting much done because these group of teachers feel like we need to do this. These group of teachers need to feel we do this. And basically, it's middle school teachers saying, hey, this is middle school. We need to do this. Elementary teachers are basically saying, hey, this is my background and this has worked, and we're not getting anything done. So there's definitely a need for the merging of the 2 cultures, because there are things that both are beneficial, but we all know middle school is his own beast on its own. It's completely different than elementary and high. All right, theory chosen. I chose Kurt Lewan's theory of change, as mentioned earlier. I really liked unfreezing, the change and the freezing part. It really resonated with my thinking, and really resonated about really how change goes. You have to change your mindset. You got to understand that, like the definition of insanity. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. You got to, at some point, you got to change your theory. You got to change your mindset if you want things to change. All right. My rationale. Kurt Lewan's theory of change is the perfect process for what is needed to occur at my current school. It's perfect. Our staff really needs to unfreeze our thinking and our actions, transition to a new way of thinking by merging our different mindsets, and then freeze again with our plan of action. All right, my action plan. I kind of kept it broad because I'm kind of explaining it more so when I go through. Action plan. I started with the unfreezing stage. My strategic goal is create a culture that encompasses the best of both cultures. We have to change our mindset. Right now, we have things are going this place, that place, like our admin staff, as spoke earlier, like you said, Dr. Lamb, they are meeting just to meet right now. A lot of things that's taking up their day is meeting. When you look around and you need someone to talk to, they're in the meeting. And the meeting time is taken away from actual work time. I give you a perfect example. We do common assessments, and as of now, our math facilitator makes all the common assessments, but he's always in a meeting. So it's like, okay, it's 2 weeks before the exam. We didn't sit down and go over the exam, talk about it, talk about the data, talk about break down each question, take the test. But we can't do that because he's burning his calendar's burning at both ends, and we're getting the test a day before we give it, sometimes the morning that we give it, rushing out to the kids. And then when the data comes back, it's like, what happened? It's like, we're meeting so much that we're taking away from the time that we're taking away from the work that we're really here to do. And that's educate the kids and teach the kids. A lot of that's not getting done. So one thing we had to do, we had to unfreeze that mindset of just meeting all the time. We have to come together and realize that there's the vision and create a mission and vision that will move our school forward. Like I said, I came later in the year. I don't understand the vision. I don't know what the vision is. Traditionally, school is, past EOG, but as far as where we're going at the Governor's Village, I have no idea. I know to go into the classroom and teach, but what's important to the community, what's important to our staff, I have no idea. I've been to one faculty meeting, and we talked about, it was kind of just a basic meeting about, the data's in the red and this, but there's no plan to get the data out of the red. It's just go teach. And you see that stemming in our content level meetings, and you see that stemming in our grade level meetings, that there's no set vision. There's no blending of cultures, not only with the teachers, with the students, because part of the school was also another elementary. Now you're blending these kids into the magnet school. It's like, there's no set norms. There's no, like I said, there's just 5-6 different cultures in one. And like I said, it's December, and what I'm used to in December, it's smooth now. It's we still dealing with things that you would normally deal with in August and September. And like I said, I came in October, and I'm like, okay, I know I got to reestablish a culture, but it's hard to reestablish a culture when there is no culture. My strategic objective is establish a mission and vision that will move our school forward. Resources, I would say set a mission. I said, one thing we got to do is come together as a school and set our mission in the school meetings, and I'm a big thing of visual. Once we set our mission, we post it everywhere in the building, post it in the bathroom, post it everywhere so everybody can see it. Start on the morning announcements. Start the day off by saying what our mission is, and just reinforcing it so everybody hears it, everybody understands it, and we can move forward. And every meeting that we have a consistent meeting room, have it posted in there, and everything that we do stems and comes off our mission. And that's that's how I look at the unfreezing stage. We have to change our mindset because the elementary minded people are stuck. Us middle school-minded people, we're stuck. We have to unfreeze and realize that there's the best of both worlds, and we can come together and we can make this school a premier school. All right. The transition. Strategic goal, develop processes and procedures that are beneficial to the middle school model. There's certain, according to the middle school model, there's certain things that a middle school must have. One thing that they suggest is that you put your students on teams. Currently, our kids are not on teams. I don't know what my kids go through throughout the day. Only thing I can tell you is that the exceptional children, they stay together all day, but our kids are not on teams. Kids have different ELA teachers. They have different social studies teachers, different math teachers. We have teachers that are 3 halls down from us, and there are teachers on my hallway that teach a different grade, which is, I see no rhyme or reason for the setup. For example, there's a math teacher that's across the hall from me, but in my classroom, there's a tutor room and there's another room connected to the room. So it was built, the school was actually built to be an elementary school, but why put a math teacher across the hall from me and there's a room that's connected to another room that could be a perfect opportunity for me to be with a math teacher. Okay, moving on to recruit. Okay. Strategic goal is to maintain. Well, in this stage, he's pretty much talking about maintaining the new established culture. To here, some of the resources I would use is professional development funds, because that's the main thing that we're going to need. We're going to need a lot of professional development, especially in cultural, emerging culture, and also in collaboration, which is the basis of my milestone. Because as of now, we're kind of not working together. Teachers are kind of just going back into their room, and then they come out in the hallway. We are frustrated, and we are frustrated with the same kids, but we're not talking about what to do with the kids or incentives or anything. We just kind of just go teach, bell rings, we go home. All right. Are there any questions? If I move on to the next one?
No, go right ahead.
All right. So the next one is going to be my strategic leadership. What I did was, we all kind of, I'm not going to bore you. We all kind of know and kind of went through the 11 competencies. So what I kind of did was I kind of went through, I kind of rated myself. I got them in order, 5 all the way down to my lowest. And I kind of have here the characteristics that I think make a person under these things proficient. For one, building collaborative relationships, I say this person is charismatic. They understand that you collect more bees with honey. They understand the benefit of collaboration. They know the difference between collaboration versus working on a team that you replace. Like, collaboration doesn't have, in my eyes, how I feel, collaboration doesn't have a set meeting time. If you're meeting, it's your planning period, and the meeting starts at 10:15, and that's the only time that you're meeting, you're not collaborating. You're just working together. You are following procedure. You're not collaborating. If you go into a meeting and all you did was copy something down, or somebody came in with something and you just did what they did, you didn't collaborate. And a lot of times we think that's collaboration. We think going into a math meeting at 10:15 and we walk out with a test, we thought we collaborated. That's not necessarily collaboration. That's just, hey, we met at a time and we clicked on the website and got a test. This person is relationship based. And I gave myself a 5 here because I understand that's one of the true things that I've been through. I've been on a collaborative team to where we met when we didn't have to meet. We were always trying to figure out things to do. We worked together. We actually team taught. It was true collaboration. And it wasn't just we meet at 10, 11, 15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was more than that. You saw us in the bus parking lot. You saw us always trying to figure out how the best way to teach a particular skill or a particular concept. It was true collaboration. Next, I got your strategic planning. I put myself as the 4 there. I put myself as a 4 there. I only have 1-5. I think a strategic planner, they understand the vision of the organization. They're a critical thinker. They are a great planner, and they are a great coach. And that's something I'm trying to become. I'm trying to become a great coach so that I can help. Because when you help a teacher, that also helps a kid. I want my influence to be more than just the 90 kids or so that I teach. The only way you can do that is by helping another teacher. All right, my next one. I have demonstrate vision. I have a 4 there. I think this person understands the vision of the organization. They are passionate towards the vision. They are focused, and they can effectively communicate the organization's vision. Next, I have organization decision making. I put a 4 there. I think this person is fair but focused on the situation. They're transparent. They are a problem solver, and they're situational and flexible at times. Meaning, their rules are not just in concrete. They understand that things happen, and at times they have to be flexible. Like sometimes a teacher might be late, but they're not late because they want to be late. They're late because there was a wreck on I-85. So you got to understand. All right. Next, I have my last 4. I think I can adapt to new conditions. I think this person is understand that change is necessary. They understand the definition of insanity. They understand you can't keep doing the same thing over and over. You got to change it up. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you can keep getting the same results. This person keeps the vision as the main influencer, and they're open-minded. Here starts my 3s. Organization perspective. I put a 3 there because this person is a visionary. They are well-rounded. I have Golden Corral in parentheses because I look at this as, this person is Golden Corral. They offer steak, they offer chicken, they offer seafood, they offer everything. They might not be the best, but they offer everything versus Outback is known for steak. This person, they have a different outlook on things, and they understand that, hey, sometimes, this person wants. They don't just want steak. They want steak, and maybe the next time they want chicken. Maybe the next time they want to go up to the bar, they want fish. Whereas Outback, you pretty much get steak. And they have a feel for the community. Next is I have a 3. I have initiate organizational innovation. I put a 3 there because they're always looking for new ideas to keep up with the time, and they never settle. I think outside the box, and I'm thinking on the thing that I'm focused on. I'm not worrying about the organized classroom at the time. I'm going past that, but when I was a teacher, that's all I worried about. And that's all I thought. All right. Next one is act systematically. I put a 3 there because I think this person is a linear thinking. They understand the steps in the process. They from Columbia, I gotta go to Columbia. I think this person is resourceful. All right. Next.
James, we're losing your audio.
Organization. I believe this person. Oh, I'm
James,
sorry.
we're losing your audio. Is there something that?
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Not now. We've lost you completely now.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Next one I have is influence across the organization. Okay. I think it's the phone. My phone's going. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Next one is influence across.
No. Now we lost you again.
the organization. We pick and choose what we're passionate about, what we believe in. I put a low score there because in the past, I pick and choose. I wasn't necessarily inspired about everything or passionate about everything. But I learned with, like I said, with maturity, you have to be. You have to be all in. This person here trusts people because they are delegators. They empower people. You have to be trustworthy. You have to trust that people are going to do the job, and you don't have to stand over them. Like, I trust that you can do the job. I'm not going to empower you. All right. And last, well, not last, but here's my twos. Promote organization transition. I believe this person understands and believes in where the organization is headed. They support change initiatives. I put myself low on this because, like I said, I pick and choose what I believed in. I didn't necessarily care where the organization was going. I was more so worried about where I was going, where my immediate teammates were going. I didn't really care about school. I cared about, for example, 8th grade math. As long as 8th grade math was fine, I was fine. And I realized that you can have a greater impact if you care more about the organization, just directly people around you. And the last competency that I rank the lowest is managing conflicting perspective. I believe this person is ethical, they're fair, not saying that I'm not ethical, but this person is ethical, they're fair, they keep the vision as a baseline for decisions, and they're a great balancer. They can balance between how other people feel and how other people think. They keep it focused on the vision, and they keep, like I said, they keep the vision as a baseline for decisions. All right, moving on, because I know we're getting tired. All right, my strategies for improvement. For promoting organization transition, I said join various school PLCs to broaden my perspective, like the school leadership team and the PTA, so I can get a broader perspective of where the school is going, not just my grade level or not just my content level, but the whole school as a whole. And 2, get out my own way. That's the biggest thing, getting out my own way, becoming the person that I need to become. Because a lot of times, your biggest distractor or your biggest enemy is the person looking back at you in the mirror. And that has been key for me. And my strategy for improvement for managing conflicting perspective is put organizational vision first always. No matter what's going on, put the school ahead of what I feel or what ahead of grade level. Everything has to go back to the vision. Understand the different perspectives for making decisions and the different mindsets that the decisions will impact. And last and not least, I get a mentor. I got a person to help coach me so I can become a better coach. Any questions?
No.
Good job, James.
Yes, get a mentor. That's the way that's the heart of my MTSS program for school. And it's not just for beginners, but the heart of it is the mentor-mentee relationship. You got that's the secret. There is no secret. You got to get a mentor. It's great.
Yep. Oh. Okay. And I'm pulling up my milestone 5 now. Don't see it, so let's search my drive. There we go. All right, basically my milestone, my topic is, for my milestone, is building effective collaborative teams. That, like I said, that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I feel strongly about, and that's missing in a lot of organizations today. I'm doing my consultancy project with Latta Family Dentistry in Latta, South Carolina, and the owner wants to actually build teams within his company to hire more companies because he's looking to expand his dentistry into more rural areas of South Carolina. He wants to serve the underserved. And for some of I give you the tasks, like for example, creation of interview teams. It's one of the things we want to do. For the risk is like members with personal agenda. Increase the office staff by 4 to 6 employees. Some of the risks may be organization can lose efficiency, unneeded positions can lose sight of vision, For another task, creation of stable teams. Some of the risks could be loss of independent-minded workers, meaning people that kind of really don't want to work in team, kind of just want to do their own thing. This job might not be attractive for you, but that actually might be a positive thing. Another task is building effective communication and collaboration. Some of the risks could be loss of employees, development of too many communication vehicles. You don't want to keep getting your word out too much. You know, when you keep getting this and that, and get the same thing over and over, it gets redundant. You might divisive teams developing within the teams, and too many directives. Another task he wants is advertisement. And with advertisement, you learn that you have the risk of loss of revenue because you don't want to advertise too much, but you don't want to advertise too little. Another task is the improvement of the website. Some of the risks is information not provided in a timely manner, and you might have technical issues with the website. Another task we have is new referrals. Some of the risks may be too rapid of growth and overbooking of appointments, where you lose your efficiency again and people leave and you lose revenue. Because, sometimes you have a restaurant, they start off great, they start off with customer focus, and after a while they get established, they lose what they start off, and in return, they lose customers. And hold up. And I have in my mitigation and contingency plan, I kind of have a table, and I kind of got both of them in there. I give a couple for examples. With one risk, I got members of a team with personal agenda. I got the mitigation plan is decisions made with 2/3 vote only. Removal of person with a known connection to the situation or applicant. And for my contingency plan, I say permanent removal of the person from the interview team. And I give one more example because I know we're getting tired. Come on. All right, I got for the risk, got the development of too many vehicles or for communication. For my mitigation plan, I say create a central hub to disseminate information. Make sure a vehicle matches current trends in technology. You want to keep up with the technology. And for my contingency plan, have a secondary vehicle in case of emergency/technical issues. And that's just a synopsis of milestone 5. Any question?
No?
And I'm done.
All right. Very good. Anybody have any question for James? I thought James was very transparent in his personal change project. I appreciate that. Self-reflection, self-awareness, Jahari's window. All right. Hey, Chelsea, it's you.
All right, here I go. I'm coming.
All right. Let me reclaim host.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make you the host.
Can you make me the host? Not the one that says Chelsea Cromartie, but the one that says Chelsea.
All right, I can do that.
Okay.
All right, you can claim the host now.
Okay, and so to claim host, I need to go to
share.
To share. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're gonna start with my cultural change project, and go from there.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so cultural change project. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So my cultural change project give you a little bit of background. I'm focusing on the place that I currently work, Rockingham Community College. The mission of the college is found on their website, was to enhance individual and community success in Rockingham County through education, as well as full development of human potential, employment assistance, service to business and industry, contributions to cultural and social development. The values that are listed on the website are commitment to students, commitment to access, commitment to excellence, contribution to the community, and quality work environment. Looking at the Denson model, this particular institution would definitely fall under a status quo organization. Looking at this model, you don't see a lot of color there. And so looking at the mission, adaptability, involvement, and consistency. For mission, that is dealing with strategic direction, goals and objectives and vision. The college does not honestly have a good sense of where it's going. Although I did, kind of talk a little bit about the vision in the previous slide, it still doesn't have a good sense of where it's going. It's almost like it's stuck in 1969.
No.
And so looking at adaptability, that focuses on creating change, customer focus, and organizational learning. The college does not do a good job of listening to the marketplace. I'll give you an example of this. The college has been talking a lot about creating and developing different programs to attract students. And one of the programs that is currently on our main website, if you go to the main website, it's we are advertising for our brand new auctioneering program. So if you know someone who's interested in auctioneering in 2018, please refer them to RCC. I'm laughing, but it's actually not really funny because when you look at the other colleges within the community college system, they're thinking forward. And so I use that as an example because what we should be thinking about in order to adapt, we should be looking at STEM programs or bringing things, that focus on technology back into the college, not auctioneering. And so looking at involvement, that's focusing on empowerment, team orientation, and capability development. There are many faculty and staff who are aligned and engaged and capable. However, there are a large number of those who are not. And so using the analogy from Collins, you either need to move seats or you need to get off the bus. The issue is that we have leadership who doesn't want to fire anybody. And some of those people who need to get off the bus also include leadership. And so consistency, that's focusing on core values, agreement, coordination, integration. The college has values, has systems and processes. However, they need to uphold those values. The values that I mentioned in the previous slide, I can honestly say that across the board, we are not upholding those values. What I'm focusing on, the model, is the ADKAR model created by Jeffrey Hyatt. It's a bottom-up method which focuses on individuals behind the change. I looked at Cotter's theory, which is a top-down approach, and I felt like this may be a little less threatening. I could be wrong, but looking at this, it's less of a sequential method, but the acronym ADKR represents actually a set of goals to reach. It can be used to plan out change on both the individual and an organizational level. Rationale, RCC is currently operating as a status quo organization. However, there needs to be a major culture shift. If the college wants to survive and thrive, it needs to be able to operate as a high performance organization. ADKAR is a bottom-up approach that focuses greatly on employees. The added focus on the people and their needs rather than just the technical aspects also result in a high success rate for the changes that need to be made. Change is happening at RCC whether people like it or not. And one of the main change is that I'm focusing on within this project is requiring faculty to utilize the Moodle platform and actually requiring them to advise. We have Moodle, which if people are familiar with that, that's pretty much a platform system where you can do a lot with it, but most people use it for grading. And so it's a lot that you can do within Moodle, but it's designed to help make things a lot more easier for the student and for the instructor. This has not been a requirement at the college that has been fully enforced. So instructors know that they're supposed to advise, but honestly, they're just getting away with not advising, and it's absolutely ridiculous because it's hurting our students. So it hasn't been fully enforced. Not utilizing technology and properly advising students is a major issue that is affecting multiple areas. And some of those areas relate to student satisfaction, student success, and retention. There is a fear amongst many faculty and staff regarding technology and advising, and using the ADKAR model is a great way to implement change to a group of people who have been proven to be very resistant to change. So looking at ADKAR is focusing on awareness. So awareness of the need to change, desire to participate and support the change, knowledge on how to change, ability to implement required skills and behaviors, and reinforcement to sustain the change. And here's this method here. And then I sort of tied in my action plan with this, so I'll kind of talk about it. Making sure, so it's focusing on awareness. You want to make sure that employees understand the need for change. And we plan on doing that by way of, and we have done that through faculty meetings, meetings with faculty, staff, and leadership to present the current state of affairs. There's a report that talks about a retention that has gone out this semester, and there'll be another one that goes out next semester. Let them know how proposed changes could help benefit the situation. I think it's important to let faculty know and understand the benefits of utilizing Moodle, the benefits of actually advising your students. Moodle will make their lives so much easier. But we have a lot of faculty on board that are so terrified and intimidated by technology. We have a lot of older faculty that are just, they are very resistant, and this is the way that they've always done it, and this is the way that they're going to continue to do it. As far as advising, it is definitely hurting our retention numbers. We have a lot of students that are being misadvised. And so justifying those changes by using hard evidence. So we actually have been working with our AmeriCorps Vista representatives on campus, and we created a student needs survey. And that student needs survey actually was just submitted on yesterday to the IRB. And so we're hoping that, the student needs survey will be able to provide further justification of why it is very important that these things be done. And so we have the retention and enrollment numbers to the reports that go out. And then I always try to make sure to go back to the strategic plan. What have we as a college set out that we want to do? And not only the strategic plan of the college, but whenever, some people are kind of resistant, always try to pull up the strategic plan of the North Carolina Community College system and just kind of show them what the things that we're trying to do, how that all relates and ties in together. Next, the desire. So this is the most difficult. We need to get both commitment in regards to the logical and emotional side in order to deploy change. Promote benefits of change, explaining why this is important, give real world examples of what will happen after the change and compare it to the current state of things. utilizing Moodle and, actually taking the time to advise students, it's not going to make things worse. I think the outcome will actually be better than what it is now. What I think is important with this model too is making sure that you get feedback from faculty in this. A lot of times, and a lot of what I've heard since being at the college is that they just don't feel like they have a part or a say in anything, and no one's listening. And I think that getting their feedback and implementing their feedback when useful is a necessary approach. Next, focusing on knowledge, making sure that everyone knows how the change will be carried out and what their responsibilities are in the process. So making sure that the change are broken down into steps that they can easily follow. And then ability. So how capable are employees to complete the tasks necessary for implementing change? Identify and assess their level of ability to determine if they need extra experience or knowledge in order to complete their task. So for instance, again, we have a lot of people who are not really comfortable with utilizing the Moodle technology. So maybe one of the things that we need to do as an institution is provide some additional professional development opportunities for those people who are comfortable, for those people who feel like they're not comfortable with utilizing Moodle. Same thing with advising. Maybe there are people who don't know how to advise, and that's why they're not doing a good job, because they don't feel competent enough. So providing those opportunities for people to develop professionally. And again, making things easier by creating a documented process that they can follow. Next, reinforcement, implementing incentives and rewards to make sure that changes are maintained until it becomes the norm. And so that can be anything. It could be, we're competing with other schools, or we're competing with other departments and somebody gets a pizza party. I don't know. But implementing those incentives, I think, is a good idea. And then looking back at the mission, adaptability, involvement, and consistency. The mission, so strategic planning committee will develop a new mission, goals, and objectives. I actually have already started working on that. I am not on the strategic planning committee, but I actually kind of made my way into the meeting one day and was able to kind of contribute to some of these things. Now, they didn't ask me to come back, but I was able to kind of get into one of those meetings. Adaptability, be more committed to serving students by providing better customer service, providing more professional development opportunities, be committed to change and innovation in order to compete with other schools. Involvement, encourage departments to do more team building. We can do a retreat at the beginning of the year for departments, doing things throughout the year, provide more opportunities to empower faculty and staff, providing professional development opportunities and workshops, better leadership, more engaged leadership, more transformational leadership, more inspirational, and being more creative and bold is what our college needs. Consistency, starting to uphold the core values that we actually have listed on our website. Leadership needs to hold people accountable. And then having faculty complete new teaching agreement forms that include using Moodle and academic advising. And then in conclusion, change is happening and people just need to get prepared for it. The ADKAR model, I don't think is very threatening, and it allows for feedback. And know what you want to change and why it's important, and this model should work. Any questions?
Me.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Moodle is a learning platform.
Yes.
And several times you referenced in your presentation that it would make their life easier if they just used it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that that's the argument that you want to use with them. It's easier not to use it at all.
Yes.
Because when you say it'll make your life easier, what you're assuming and you may be assuming price the problem, is that they're actually designing courses and teaching courses as intended. If they were doing what they're supposed to, it would make their life easier. But if they're not already designing courses and bringing in materials and teaching that way, this is just extra work for them. Let me give you an example. We had a big push at Gardner Webb for instructors to start using Quality Matters, which would enhance our Blackboard course development, and we would be able to use all the functions of Blackboard, and which is basically Moodle. We'd be able to use all those functions, and we couldn't understand why people wouldn't adopt QM. Guess what the real problem was? They weren't using Blackboard already. So asking them to do QM was extra work for them. It didn't make their life easier because they weren't using Blackboard already. So the notion here is that they're not already designing courses, bringing in material and those things. Moodle is extra work for them. So be careful not to assume past the problem that if these people are already doing this stuff and this is just a way to organize it, they may not be doing the actual work to begin with. And then that's why they see Moodle as extra work for them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, that's one of those examples of assuming past the problem, that you think they've already got that part whipped. They may not know how to go out and how to pull together materials for a course to load into Moodle. Or they might just be teaching out of stuff that they had when they were in college. Or they might just be, as I found, an instructor that I had to let go, that I inherited. He was just showing up and making it up. He didn't have anything. He just said, we'll just have a class discussion. But he didn't have any materials to base the discussion on because he didn't know how to use Blackboard. So be sure that these people have a basic level of competency. And if they do, then you're exactly right. They'll do a little extra work. Adopting Moodle will simplify their life. But if they don't have the basics, if they're not technology savvy, then that's your real problem, not Moodle. All right, move on. Very good.
All right. I'm going to write this last thing down that you said. All right. Who's that, James?
Yeah, I'm about to mute James. Let's see if I can. You've got the control. Let me see. It won't let me. It won't let me because you have the control. Let me go back again. No, okay. Let me reclaim host. All right, Chelsea, I'm going to unmute you. All right, Chelsea, you're unmuted, and I'm going to give you the host back. Okay, we're back.
All right.
Okay, you've muted again. Let me unmute you. All right, Chelsea, whenever you can unmute.
Okay,
All right.
got it. All right. So, moving on. All right, so personal change project. Change goal is to increase my visibility and collaborative efforts within Rockingham Community College and the local community in Rockingham County. The process, this has been a process that really has taken off this semester. I started a little bit over the summer. Actually am very new to RCC. I started back in, I think it was July 2nd is when I began. But this process has definitely taken off this semester. I've been really intentional about programming and connecting with others. And I've been able to garner lots of support along the way. I actually kept in mind the ADCAR model because it stated that this model would also be good for implementing change amongst individuals as well as organizations, so I used the same model. So what has happened so far? I'll start with that. So 2018, this year, this was back in October, we had the North Carolina Community College System Transfer Fair, which was extremely successful. They usually had it every year in like a science building, but this year I was able to move it to the library. So collaborated with the library. I had about 15 colleges and universities that signed up to attend, and about 25 actually showed up. So it was a great turnout. I got a lot of praise for it. This was something that I definitely had worked on my own, but in collaboration with the folks at the library. So they allowed me to use the space, and so that's how we were able to collaborate. But as far as planning, it was literally just a lone venture. Joined Reset Rockingham, which is an organization in Rockingham County that is designed, or the purpose is to kind of be like a workforce program that works with different community organizations in order to try to help get people ages 16 to 24 back to work and back in the workforce within Rockingham County. So I was able to join that very recently, which is awesome. Built upon relationships with Goodwill Industries and NC Works. And that just, I knew that I wanted to increase my collaborations not only on campus, but in the community. And so a lot of what I've been doing this semester is getting out of my office and actually going to see people and shaking their hands, going to different events, giving them cards. And what we've been able to do is Goodwill Industry and NC Works, if they have workshops or hiring events, they'll actually send me those PDF or those JPEG files, and I send them out to the entire college. And so the emails I send out, they go to not only current students, faculty, and staff, but alumni as well. And so developing new partnerships, we're trying to do more with letting students know about the services that we have in counseling that are available, services that are available to them in the local community. I don't know if you all are aware of this, but Rockingham County Rockingham County is actually ranked #1 in the state, and they are, I believe, ranked #5 nationally in the number of opioid overdoses, which is not a good stat to have. However, that has a huge effect on the county. And so people are out of work, people are struggling. When people are working, if their job has a random drug test, a lot of people are failing these drug tests. And it's not people in their early 20s and their 30s. It's people, I think the average is 45. So 45 and up. And so it's really, hurting a lot. And those people, if they're not currently enrolled at RCC, they may have a child that's enrolled at RCC. So it's affecting a lot of different things. So really been trying to do, develop new partnerships. We had an opioid awareness day where we actually brought local people to campus. We had the sheriff's department there, just to make people aware of what's going on in the county. I've collaborated with faculty and staff a lot in regards to programming and different workshops. I've probably done about 25 programs and workshops this semester alone where I've collaborated. And that also includes me physically going to classrooms to speak. I've spoken about resumes, cover letters, different resources, mock interviews, the Myers-Briggs assessment. I've done that a lot. But really increasing the collaboration with faculty and staff has been extremely important. I've joined 3 committees. Whether I joined them or was voluntold. I'm on 3 committees now. I mentioned earlier about the Students Needs Survey that just got IRB approval. And that will be going out, if not the end of January, the beginning of February, and that will be campus-wide. The Students Needs Survey, you know, we hear a lot about different barriers that our students face, but I think that leadership needs to hear it from the students because they need to fix a lot of what's going on and better help to support our students. The career management platform system. So right now, RCC is like the only college that I know of that does not have a career management platform system. So what that means is there's no way for employers to post jobs onto our website, and there's no way for students to apply for them, which is, you know, kind of crazy when you think about it. The community college is in the business of helping the community get back to work. And so a part of that connection and collaboration is just having a way for our students to be able to access that. And so the career management platform system, we're actually looking at I forgot the name of it. We looked at about 3 different ones, but 2 of them are actually not really the best platforms to use for community colleges. One of those is Purple Briefcase, if you've heard of Purple Briefcase, and then there's another one called Handshake. So they're okay, but right now they're not really designed for community colleges. And then lastly, I actually received a letter from our vice president about all the work that I've been doing so far, and just how he's, you know, everyone is just really happy and how he's satisfied with the work that I'm doing and just the collaborations that I've been able to build in my short time being here. So that felt really good to get that letter. And then continuing with the process, so strengths. So strengths that I've been able to kind of recognize throughout this process is that I am very people-oriented, and I do really good at building rapport with people on all levels of the organization. I'm a new face. However, I think that I've been able to bring in a new perspective or a different perspective. Collaboration is definitely a strength of mine, and as you saw in the previous slide, I've been able to do a lot of that. Community engagement. I am not from Rockingham County. I'm not even from Guilford County. I'm from Forsyth County. And Rockingham County is about 45 minutes away from where I live. And so it's very rural. If you've never been to RCC, it is extremely rural, and it's very different than the place that I live. And so I wanted to be able to really increase community engagement to better understand my students and how we can better serve them, as well as garnering those partnerships. Another strength is classroom and administrative experience that I have. I've been able to kind of, when I'm in faculty meetings, I'm able to understand some of what faculty is going through or share some of their same sentiments, because I've worked in the classroom within higher education before and still do currently. And then limitations, I'm an office of one. So I've been doing all this. Yes, I've been collaborating, but the majority of the work is it's literally just me. We have limited resources. Again, another limitation is I'm a new face. I'm still learning the organization. I'm still learning the culture of the organization, and I'm still learning the culture of the community in Rockingham County. Another limitation is, I wouldn't say limitation, but I will say generational differences. I'm like one of the youngest people that works there, and it's just a lot of resistance. And we've had a lot of conversations with my mentors about this and just generational differences and how that can probably, I feel like that can be alleviated or made, you know, made better through mentoring. So I've been able to develop mentoring relationships with people who are older than me, that have a lot more experience, and that can help me sort of navigate some of the issues that I come against. And then another limitation, people just being resistant to change. Next, support and awareness. Have lots of support from across the organization, including leadership. When they see the good that's happening in my department, they tend to want to jump on board. I've been able to find 3 mentors on campus that I've really been able to gravitate towards, and they've been helping me out a lot. Professional development. I've been able to attend about 3 conferences since I've been there at the college, and according to some people, some of my colleagues that have worked there for a while, that's usually not something that really happens. So I'm glad that I've been able to take advantage of those opportunities. And then community awareness and outreach, been able to see what other colleges are doing. I've learned that community colleges are not to be ran like a university, and because it's a different type of customer. Our students are so used to going to class and going home. And so it's a lot of frustration that I had with programming sometimes. Why aren't students coming to programs? Well, some of that too is the fact that I'm not working at a university anymore. I'm working at a community college, so I have to make sure that I'm always aware and keep that in mind. Students may face many barriers that hinder them from being successful and need support. I've heard a lot of horror stories since I've been on this campus, and that's why I felt the need to do a student needs survey. One of the issues is food insecurity and transportation. We actually had last year, before I got there, the AmeriCorps Vistas that were on campus attempted to bring about a mobile food pantry that was literally going to be very little cost to the college, but that would have been able to help those students who face food insecurity. But that got shut down for whatever reason by leadership. But it's still something that's an issue. I had a student in my office recently who, was upset because they hadn't ate all day. They had class from the morning until about 5 o'clock and hadn't eaten anything. And so some people do not want students to succeed. I'm really an advocate. I've learned that about myself. I retook the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs. I'm an INFJ, which is the advocate, and I can definitely tell in my work now that I definitely advocate for students, and I'm passionate about the work that I do. You can't change people. I've learned that, and I've also learned that last year, I forgot whose class it was, Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Campbell, Dr. Balls. I was able to recognize that one of my primary strengths was grit. And I think what I've recognized in this class or throughout this semester is that one of my strengths also is being innovative and being influential. Key learnings, that relationships are important. helps make you more influential. That one-on-one, I found that one-on-one is the best way to develop understanding and buy-in. When I need faculty to get on board, I tend to go directly to their offices and talk to them one-on-one before I do it in like a faculty meeting. I've learned, the importance of collaboration, knowing and understanding the culture of the county is very important. Not everyone will be on board, so I have to be okay with that. Find a mentor. I was able to find 3. Don't take it personal. That's something that I've definitely had to just kind of realize that you can't take things personally. And positive thought leads to positive outcomes. So mindset is everything. Any questions?
Well, Philotix left there in 2003, and then Miller Coors left there in 2017. So there's no jobs.
That is very true.
So there's no jobs. That's where your opioid epidemic's coming from. There's no jobs. And so that influences the type of organization that the community college is. It's an employment agency. The reason I don't let anybody go is the purpose of the college is not to educate kids, it's to provide jobs in a low economic area. Perfect example of why community colleges were created. So that doesn't mean that you can't make changes and that you can't go forward and that you can't strategically plan to improve things. It just means that you have to understand that just like Gardner Webb is a patronage organization, that the real reason it's there is to provide jobs. That's the same thing as community colleges, especially in economically depressed areas. It's not about outcomes. Don't care if they're good at their job or not. The whole point is to provide people a job in areas where there are no jobs. That's what patronage organizations do. Now, as leaders in those organizations, you have to understand that, and you have to work within the people that you've got to try to improve them. Yeah, you know, it'd be better if you could get different people on the bus, but you can't always do that.
Mm-hmm.
When in truth, now this is not, they're not going to tell you this in the brochure, but in truth, the point of Rockingham Community College is to provide jobs for people in the area, so that all the middle class won't leave.
Can you repeat the last sentence?
Stabilizing influence for the community. Because without it, there are hardly any middle class jobs there. You know, the mills and the brewing plant provided middle class jobs and middle class stability to the community. Those are gone. And it's been left up to the community college and a few others like the hospital to provide all the jobs for the middle class in the community. So just understand that your frustration with, why don't they let this person go? They know they aren't any good. Well, that's not what they do. That's not what they do. So that's just a personal note so that, you know, that you understand the context that you're working. Okay. What's next, Chelsea?
All right, wrapping it up. The Strategic Competency, Leadership Competency Project. All right, so these are the competencies. I've ranked them. You can see my top 2, you can see my bottom 2. My bottom 2 are promoting organizational transition and managing conflict perspectives. My top 2 are building collaborative relationships and initiating organizational innovation. Let me just read this so I can see. Okay. Building collaborative relationships. An example of how someone would demonstrate this proficiency is creating centers of excellence within the organization. Another example is 2 departments working together on a workshop and sharing resources instead of holding 2 separate workshops where they will be delivering the same message. I gave myself a 4 on building collaborative relationships. I feel like that's something I do very well, and that I'm also steadily increasing and trying to do more of. An example of this is working with TRIO. If you all are familiar with TRIO programs, if you've ever heard of Upward Bound, TRIO is essentially an extension of Upward Bound. It's the collegiate version of Upward Bound. So it is, a organization that's federally funded that allows for, colleges to better support students. And so there's a lot of things that they do that I do. And so instead of reinventing the wheel or just duplicating efforts, we decided to work together on a lot of our workshops this year. Next is initiate organizational innovation. I gave myself a 5 on this one. Seizes new opportunities and consistently generates new ideas, introduces and creates needed change in the face of opposition. Next is influence across the organization. I gave myself a 4 for this one. And I'll just read this because I feel like it's important. I believe I'm an influential leader and often admired from a humanistic approach, transparency, and ability to relate to others and inspire others. The challenge that I face with influence across the organization is, although I'm great with building rapport and respect with people within all levels of the organization, there are those who are resistant to change, seeing me as being too ambitious or a naive millennial. I've learned to not take it personally, and as others buy into my vision, hopefully the rest will get on board. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with. And although, and I will say some people have actually come out and said, oh, you're a millennial, or you're so young, or this and that, and, certain types of things, but hopefully they end up getting on board. An example that I want to mention in regards to influence across the organization, we had the hurricanes recently, and we did have some damage on our campus. Well, we had this big scholarship dinner, and all the people the donors came. They were all on campus, and it was like it was a show, pretty much. Well, we had not cleaned up from hurricane, whatever it was, and those donors came on campus, and I guess they ended up going to the president and saying, y'all need to clean up this mess by this date, or we're pulling our that sort of thing. So our college president sent out an email and said, we're going to have RCC cleanup day on this date, yada, yada, yada. So we did that. We had the cleanup day, and I was able to take like the last hour of my day and devote it to cleaning up sticks and moving stuff around. And so I go up to by the administrative building. I had already been there, and I see across the street that it's this guy. He has on like some sweatpants, a hoodie, a hat, and gloves, and he's picking up these big sticks. So I said, okay, let me go over there and help him out. Personally, I thought that it was someone from our maintenance. I go over there, and it's the president of the college. And so I said, Dr. Kidwell, what are you doing over here? And he's like, I'm helping out. So I said, okay, I'll help you. So I spent like 20 minutes, with him, just kind of like helping, pick up sticks, and I wasn't going to let him outwork me. So he left, and I stayed like 2 minutes after he left. But I told him, I said, I was actually going to go work out when I left here, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. But that was just a great example of, just great leadership. I've never seen that before. A college president actually physically getting his hands dirty, participating in something that he asked for everyone else to do. So I thought that was great to see that. And then next, adapts to new conditions. I gave myself a 5 on that one. Organization perspective, I gave myself a 4 on here. I won't go into that. And then demonstrating vision, understands organization's vision and communicates the organization's vision. remains focused on vision. Gave myself a 4. Act systematically. This is something that I definitely feel like I can improve upon. So I gave myself a 3.5 on that. This is probably the longest that I have actually worked at one job within higher education. Well, not longest, I won't say that. The longest was my last job, which was 2 years. So I put here, working in higher education. I have not been at a college or university long enough to fully grasp its political nature to the fullest extent. Learning an organization's culture takes time and intentionally immersing yourself and placing yourself in spaces that you are unfamiliar with so that you may learn. Some spaces, your access may be limited due to the nature of your work, duties, title, or position. Like most millennials, I have not stayed at one job within my professional career within higher education more than 2 years. Therefore, I am back in a place where I have to learn a brand new organizational culture after almost grasping the last one. This is why I did not give myself a full 5 points. I did give myself 3.5 points due to the fact that I make a strong effort to put myself in different spaces within the organization and communicate with those on multiple levels. Working in my current position at this institution is the most access I've ever had to senior leadership, being that I report directly to the vice president. And I use that opportunity, being involved on leadership committees, setting campus collaboration initiatives to my advantage to systematically get things done. But I definitely feel like acting systematically is something that I can definitely work more at and improve upon. Organizational decision making, I gave myself a 3.5 simply because I haven't really been in the position of leadership where I've had the power or authority to make such impactful decisions. So in my current role, I'm able to do that. And so I do expect to continue to grow now that I have a seat at the leadership table. And then strategic planning. I put that this is something that I definitely need to improve on. I got a 3. Gave myself a 3 on this. And the action steps that I gave myself is working with my mentors to create and develop a committee for the career and opportunities fair that will be happening in the spring, and using strategic planning as a way to achieve those objectives. And then I think this might be the last slide. So promoting organizational transition, I gave myself a 3, and the action step is I feel like I need to act more systematically. And then making conflicting perspectives. I hope to improve in this area in my role as chair of the Career and Opportunities Fair Committee, but I gave myself a 2 on that because I don't have a lot of experience in that area. And that is it. Any questions? Comments?
No, I think you were honest with yourself. And that's the self-awareness piece. That's what's important. Assess where you are and know to work on those things, those competencies that you aren't strong in. That was the whole idea of this particular project.
All right, and then lastly, I'll just have you all kind of look at my milestone 5. So I am doing a student athlete player development program. Now, although I'm at milestone 5, I really want to change my project. Like, I want to change it so badly, but I'll talk about that later. But nonetheless, student athlete player development program in order to better assist student athletes with their student success and matriculation and better preparing them for life after graduation. So that is the purpose of this. This is the risk assessment checklist I was able to gather. And then you can see some of the risk here associated with a student athlete player development program. Funding might not be approved. Key supporters and stakeholders might leave. It could be no improvement in student athlete academic success, college experience, or postgraduate preparedness. Athletic programs and teams may be canceled. Our coaches may leave Guilford College, which working in athletics, you can get a new coach and he fires everybody on staff. So that can happen very easily. Lack of faculty, staff, or leadership support, and then lack of interest, support, and participation of student athletes. You can see my probability versus impact matrix here. And then here are my mitigation and contingency plans associated with the risks that I mentioned above, and I will not read that. Any questions, concerns? All right, that's it.
Yay. All right.
Good job, Chelsea.
Thank
Good
you.
job. All right. Okay. Well, y'all all did a great job today. Again, make sure you go to assignment Dropbox and drop all your work in there. I hope that you've gone to the store and got all the bread and milk that you could get for the storm that's coming. I keep looking out the window here. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm at the Lake Norman house. I came in from the mountains. I got snowed on. Let's see. What morning was it? It snowed on me. Wednesday morning I got snowed on there, so I've headed back this way. Hopefully it won't be as bad here as it's going to be in the mountains. I've enjoyed having you all this semester. Just like with Chelsea, if you have issues, make sure you get in touch with your consultancy coach. I'm guessing that's Dr. Hamilton. Make sure that you keep up with him on your milestones. Make sure you get that done. I've enjoyed having you all this semester. We've had a good time. I hate that I didn't get to see you all in person today.
I know we didn't get to go eat.
I know.
We didn't get to eat and we didn't get our picture either.
I know.
Oh, that's true.
We'll do that next semester though. What I'll find
Will
out.
you still be coming to the Charlotte site?
Pardon?
Will you still be coming to the Charlotte site?
Not next semester, but I will come when I'll find out from when y'all are going to be meeting, and I will come and see you and we'll go eat.
Oh, good.
We'll make up for this, but yeah, I'll come by. Promise that. So let me know the days, the weekends that y'all are meeting, and we'll do lunch on that first Saturday if I don't have class. So send me the dates that y'all are meeting in Charlotte, and I'll come on a Saturday and we'll do lunch.
If we don't understand our new instructor, are you available via email since this is a course you created? Okay.
Yeah, I do that. Now I'll work with you and to tutor you through this if you need my help. I'll offer that.
I'm gonna need it.
Okay.
Dr. Lamb, our first meeting in Charlotte will be February 9th and 10th.
Okay, let me grab my calendar. Oh, there it is. I'm usually smart enough to buy, when I'm making the transition from one year to the next, to buy different colors, but that didn't happen. All right, your days are, what's your first meeting?
February 9th and 10th.
Okay, I'm available. February 9th, CLT for lunch. So we will do lunch on February the 9th.
All right.
Sounds good.
And we'll go to lunch on February the 9th, and we'll get our picture and all that stuff.
Okay.
I'm guessing my wife will shear me by then. Be
Look,
back.
after this long break, she'll be happy to put you out.
I'm telling you what, I'm shedding like a dog right now. I blame the dog for all this hair that I'm shedding off. Let me before we go, you gotta see my dog.
Sorry.
The dog that adopted me.
The dog that adopted him.
Uh-huh.
My mother-in-law's dog, and when she passed away, her little dog adopted me. And she's 16 years old, and she's sick today. I hurt her. This is Lulu.
You won't even look at the screen.
and she adopted me. She's my dog now. She stays with me always.
Hey, cutie.
Oh.
And she's not feeling good today. She's got an ear infection. She's deaf, but she's got an ear infection. And she's having to take antibiotics. And she's not feeling good. And we were up about all night, but she's okay.
No.
Yeah, she's I'm not a big fan of yappy dogs, but she took up with me, so I have to take care of her. All right. Well, y'all all have a good holiday. I'll see you after the break. I enjoyed it. Been a lot of fun. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll post the video for you. So if you want to go back, and I'll put the approximate times and people on there. So y'all all have a good holiday. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.